Baby girl, show me your vibe. Baby girl, show me your light. We need a little bit of your time.
Hey guys, it's Bri, and today I'm just going to be showing you guys my collection of Christian books that I've accumulated since I was a teenager. I actually filmed this video like a few years ago, but I never posted it, so kind of redoing this video. I've collected more books since then, obviously, and so this is kind of just like showing you my books and also kind of maybe like recommending books that you might be interested in. These are like books for teens and young adults. Tough Questions, 500 Bold Discussion Starters. It's by Josh Warren, the son of Rick Warren. And so it basically just has a whole bunch of questions in it that you can like discuss. Like there's spiritual questions, there's heart questions, there's like accountability questions. There's a lot of questions. It's just really interesting to kind of, discuss. I've never really like used it in a group or anything, but you could use it in an individual thing too. So yeah. And then this one is Instant Messages from God for Girls, and it's 30 daily devotionals. And I remember when I was in like middle school, high school, I liked to read this book like a lot. I don't know if this is available online, but if it is, I can try to see if I can link it down below. It's basically like, it'll be like, for example, instant message number 10, God's love equals real love. And then it'll have like the scripture down there. And then on the next page, you'll have like the actual, devotional reading, and then it has more messages from God's word, so we'll have like more scriptures on this page, and then the last page will be like an instant tip and then the prayer at the end. And so I would just like get through this in a month, and I liked this book a lot when I was like, middle school, high school. The next book is, I don't remember where I got this one from. I think this might have been from the bookstore too, where my mom got this. I don't really remember where I got this from, but it's called Stand Your Ground, Devotionals by Teens, for teens by teens. So it's basically teens that are writing this book. So it's like really interesting. It's like I do remember liking this devotional too, because it's like by teens, and like it's really relatable because a lot of them are in high school, and there's like really relevant topics in this one. So I did like this one too. Stand Your Ground, yeah. So these are basically they just give spiritual insight. I really liked this one. I remember I did like this one a lot as well. So my next book is Soul Surfer by, this is a devotion book, because she has her like actual book, and she has other books that she's written since this one, but this is her devotions book. I think I got this from Barnes and Noble like a long time ago. And so she has like some pictures of her surfing in here, which is really cool. Like you can see like her family and her surfing right there. And yeah, I loved this devotional a lot, and it also has spaces to like journal in. And it has like the scriptures as well, the prayers as well. And I liked this devotional a lot because I feel like it just felt like she was literally talking to me, and I feel like it spoke to me a lot, and a lot of the scriptures in it I really liked. They're like in different versions, and I tried to memorize some of the scriptures in this devotional, so I did like this one a lot as well, and I would definitely recommend this one. This next book I talked about in the How to Get Closer to God During School Year Praise for Youth, and this is by Dwayne Moore. It's a 6-week Bible study, and it helps teenagers and young adults go extreme in worship of God. And so it's very it's almost like physical training for like in your spiritual life. It challenges you a lot. It gets you out of your comfort zone, and I learned so much about like worship and praise, and just what worship really is, because it's something that I didn't fully understand for a while. And even in church, when they tried to explain it, I still didn't fully understand it. But if you really want to understand worship and how powerful it is, and I feel like that book got me so much closer to God. And I think it was through that book that I was able to kind of start learning how to like hear God's voice for myself. And out the window for me to actually worship God, and I feel like my relationship with God got a lot closer from that book. This isn't really a book necessarily for teens or anything. I found this book a long time ago. This book is really old, and it was just in my parents' shelf somewhere, and I just took it and read it. But it's called Reconstructing Your Personality by Norman Caulfield. And this book is so good. This book is so good. And it has some really powerful prayers in it. And basically, I had a time when I just did not like myself. I like genuinely did not like myself, and I read that book, and it's not like I was trying to change who I was, but it basically kind of makes you into like more of who you really are. And I definitely recommend that book. Even if you're younger, like it'll still help you. It's a little more, I think, I guess informational or compact with information, but it's pretty easy to understand because I read it when I was like in my mid-teens a couple times. I read it a couple times and I was able to get what I needed from it. It takes a little time to get through, but definitely I love that book so much. Next book, this is called The Bare Naked Truth About Waiting. This is by Becca Hamrick Martin. Kind of going about, it just goes through like the different myths, the different lies that are around about, you know, this whole issue. Not this whole issue, but it just kind of like, for example, this is line number 3, guys won't want me if I'm not experienced, you know. So it kind of, and then there's also like journaling. At the time that I read this, I remember that I didn't really like it that much. It wasn't my favorite book, but it is, I do think that it's useful. I don't really remember, yeah, I don't really remember it that well, because I kind of like skimmed, I kind of like didn't take my time to read through it, so, I'm not gonna, you know, I can't really say much about it because I don't really remember that well. I just remember that it wasn't my favorite. I think because a lot of the lies I felt like I already knew for myself, so I was like, I'm not really learning anything new. But if you like are kind of having a fresh start about waiting, or if you're just kind of just wanting to bear like the foundation of it, then I would recommend maybe checking that book out. Another really life-changing book for me is Confident. This is by Carol Saley, I think. This is a Bible study for teen girls, and this book, so good. This one like really opened my eyes about what true confidence is, and it really like helped me to understand like the story. It talks about the story of Adam and Eve and relates it to how we lost confidence when, you know, Adam and Eve sinned, and how that affects our lives even today on a regular basis, especially as women, and how like everything changed when, you know, Christ came, and now like everything that we lost we now have back, so like we can be confident now through what Christ did, and like through all of that. I wrote in this a lot. There's also places to write in this. And I love this book so much because I remember I was feeling like I had to have like perfect skin, perfect hair, and like the best clothes, and like friends, and like good grades, and like the best family, and like my room has to be cute, and like I have to be, you know, the best, like the most talented in sports. And I just felt like I had to be the best in everything to feel like I was confident. And so this book really opened my eyes and changed my life. And this book kind of helped me to be more bold in my faith. And I feel like I also became a lot closer to God through this book as well. So definitely recommend this Bible study for teen girls, especially if you're struggling with confidence. Definitely read that book. Another book I really love, another life-changing book. I feel like this book really helped me become a better person. This is by Elizabeth George, and it's called Beautiful in God's Eyes for Young Women. So this book kind of goes through the story of Proverbs 31. And I've learned so much from this book. I took like so many notes. There's places where you can, there's study questions in the book where you can like write things down. But I remember just taking notes on like everything from this book. So it kind of goes through the traits of the Proverbs 31 woman. And I remember at the time I bought this book, I was like trying so hard to like feel pretty on the outside. I was insecure about my body, and I just wanted to like be beautiful on the inside, you know, because I just was like, if I couldn't at least be beautiful on the inside, you know. So I really liked this book. I would definitely recommend this book. And I do feel like I became a better person from it. I also feel like I got closer to God through this book. Another book, because I was just really wanting to just become a better version of myself. So this is by John Ortberg. This isn't necessarily for teens, so this could be more for young adults, but I still chose to read it because he talks about, you know, his family in the book and everything. This is called The Me I Want to Be by John Ortberg, and he has some really good books, but this is the only one I think that I've read from him so far. And it's just like kind of like becoming who you want to be, because a lot of the times we might feel like we have to be who someone else wants us to be, or who we feel like we have to be, but it's really kind of just like letting God shape you into who you see yourself as, and then also what his will for who you are is, you know what I mean? So yeah, this was a good one too. It is a little bit longer. There's a lot of chapters in it, and the font's a little smaller, but it's a good read. It's a good read. All right, so next book. This book is written by a teen. Well, I don't think he's a teen anymore, but this is by Austin Gatween. I don't really know how to pronounce his last name, but his name's Austin, and his book is called Live to Give, Letting God Turn Your Talents into Miracles. So he founded Hoops of Hope, and he has his own charity organization that raises money for AIDS relief in Africa. And so it's kind of like really talking about utilizing the gifts that he's given us for his purposes, and just kind of like not doubting yourself because you're young. There's another book I forgot, but I'll just mention it. Do Hard Things by Brianna and Brittany. That book was life-changing too. But I don't have it with me right now. But I'll just still mention that book and leave it down below if you guys are interested. Next book, this is by Susie Schellenberger and Kristen Weber. This is Smart Girl's Guide to God, Guys, and the Galaxy. Save the Drama, and 100 other practical tips for teens. So Susie Schellenberger was a former youth pastor and high school teacher. This book is also nice. I liked reading this in the mornings before I went to school because it's pretty short. Basically like tips. It's not even all like Christian related. Like literally tip number 15 is raise a chicken. Just like tips of like things to do kind of just to make the most of your teenage years. Like 51 is be others centered. Number 54 is just make a list, give people the benefit of the doubt, keep a prayer journal, make your bed. It's like little things. I love Sadie Robertson so much, so I would recommend Live Original. I think I haven't read her second book, and I meant to, and I just didn't. I just kept putting it off, but I'm planning on it still because I really loved her first book. And it just kind of goes through like her story and her faith, and how basically, you know, just being who you are, living out, just keeping it real, staying true to your values. Basically, that's what it says on the back of the book. That's basically what this book is about. It's really, really good, really inspiring, especially for someone that's, you know, a teen or like around my age, you know? She's just an inspiring person, honestly. The last book I have is 7 Steps to Knowing, Doing, and Experiencing the Will of God for Teens, and this is by three brothers, Tom, Mike, and Daniel Blackaby. So this is the book. I liked this book a lot because this was when I was about to, oh, sorry. Ow, my legs are sore. Okay, so I like this book a lot because this was, I read this at the time, I got this book at the time when I wasn't sure what I wanted to do after graduating from high school, and I just wanted to know what God's will for my life was. So I think this book definitely helped, and it kind of has like 7 truths that it goes through. There's prayers in it, there's you can write in it as well, and it kind of just shows how God speaks, how God is always at work, and kind of the next steps to take, like how to hear his voice and how to make adjustments, and how we have to have faith, and how faith pleases God and everything. That's pretty much all the books. A lot of them I really love. A lot of them have really changed my life, and I would definitely recommend them. So I will try to link all the books down below. And if you liked this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If there's any other books that you like, that you would recommend, you can leave them in the comments. And if you'd like any more Christian book related videos, because there's like so many good books out there, and I definitely want to keep reading and get more books, and I can maybe do more book videos. So if you like either of those, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.